Hi, this is Will Maynard, and I'm trying to beat my personal best 14.1 run. Here's a recent effort. The table layout's pretty open, so I shouldn't need to move many balls. The 4 is a good break ball, and here are 2 nice end patterns, so avoid shooting those balls in. If I can clear these balls, the rest of the table looks good. My first shot is a 7 since playing the 15 moved the 13. Here's a break ball nudge to a better spot. Trying to land here, but didn't commit to it and came up short. Could have been locked up. I think better would have been to die the 6 into the side and then play the 11, then these. Okay, everything's now open, so don't move any more balls. I want to play the end pattern that I saw early on. These balls go first such that I get on the 1 in the corner. Yeah, this is what I strive for the last 2 shots in the rack. Easy shots with minimal cue ball movement and easy natural shape on the break ball. If I could achieve this more often, larger runs would follow. In order to continue a run, you need a good break and a decent shot afterward, which means having a good idea where the cue ball goes after the break. So knowing the cue ball contact point on the rack helps decide spin and speed to control cue ball direction after the break. On a side of the rack break ball like here, if I hit low on a rack ball, I put draw on the cue ball to avoid a scratch. If I hit the high side of a rack ball, then I often put follow on the cue ball to avoid going up table. To find the cue ball contact point on the rack, I first line up the cue stick through the break ball to the target pocket. Then, using the cue joint, I find the 90-degree line the cue ball center will take off the break ball. This line is a half ball away from the break ball, which is almost exactly the size of this cue joint. So I line one joint edge with the contact edge of the break ball and sight down the other joint edge to the contact point on the rack. This method is quick and accurate. Since I know the cue ball will hit the high side of the 8 ball, I can hit the cue ball with high spin and not worry about scratching in the corner. Now forget about the rack and just concentrate on making the break ball. That's a nice spread. The only problems I see are this cluster and these 2 blockers. The 8 ball is a good break ball candidate with a 13 as a key ball. So I'd like to clear a few balls and then tackle that cluster. I don't like what I did with the next 2 shots. Going into the 5-11 off the 9 moves balls for no reasons, which could create problems. Ideal would be to draw back off the 7 to this line, follow the 10 here, and shoot these in the corner and these here. Cue ball control must be precise, but this sequence would preserve the key and break balls. Not good. My break ball is toast. From here I need to get back in line and clean up the mess I made. The combo will throw into the corner, so I want to get to it quickly. The 8 and the 11 have no other pockets available. Get out. Ugh. By this point, with just 5 balls left, I should have a break ball, a key ball, and an easy end pattern. But I'm still scrambling with no clear plan. Here's my last attempt to create a break ball. The 14 will have to do. Not an ideal break ball. I apply a little inside English trying to hit the 13 with medium speed. Hitting with harder stroke will likely send the cue ball up table, though I'd probably get a better spread of the balls. This shot wasn't very productive. I have the 11 ball. But I'm also looking at a possible shot out of the rack. The 10 is lined up for the left edge of the pocket, so I need to throw it to the right by having the 7 apply force to the 2. I need to hit the 3 full to make the 10. Whoa. This is a tester, and the speed's got to be right, or the run ends. I landed nearly flat on the 13, so my only real option is a force follow into the 5, hoping for the best. And I managed to hit the 5 far enough left, so that it moved the 3 and the 11. If I wasn't jacked up on this shot, I'd attempt to break up the cluster now. My plan is to get on the 5 in the corner and follow to here, then break the cluster off the 1. But it's an uncomfortable reach with inside English to hit my spot. So instead I try low percentage position to here. Running out of options, I try to break off the 9 rather than trying to get here for the 1. Uh-oh, last chance. Here's the ideal path to get on the 4 next, but I'm too flat on the 12. But I'm playing a fourth follow for this line, but the speed has to be precise. I jumped up and didn't apply enough follow, but I got lucky to be left with not only a shot, but a chance to create a break ball. Since the 6 has no pocket and the 7 doesn't go in the side, I'm looking to play it here. Going for the far corner is another option. I cheated the pocket left to create an angle on the 6, but not enough. So my next shot needs a good stroke. Not a very productive break with only 2 balls out, plus no reasonable shots in the cluster, so I decided to go for a secondary break now, even without an insurance ball. Still no ideal chance to break the cluster. The 5 would be good if I could see enough of it, so the plan is to get an angle on the 7 and go into him again. I wanted a steeper angle with less reach. Care is needed here as the cluster contact point makes all the difference. Splitting the 5 and the 8 would be best, but the 12 is too low. And if I hit the low side of the 12 or the 5, the cue ball will head towards the short rail with a possible scratch or no next shot. If I hit too high on the 12, I'll lose the cue ball up table, so I'm aiming to hit the 12 flush and take my chances. I like the 13 for secondary break, but it's a bit long and I'm jacked up over the 3. This shot is missable, so I'll take the 3 and play shape for the 5. From here I could follow the 5, moving a few balls and having the 12 as insurance. I fell a bit short of my target and can't break the cluster from here. And now I've landed pretty flat on that 12 ball, so my last hope is to load the cue ball up with spin and get shape on the 13 for the break. The 11 ball is a good cue ball stopper for shape on the 8. From here the pattern looks okay. Easy roll the 11, landing on the 14 in the far corner, leaving a slight angle on the 9 to shoot the 4 next and follow to here. I think this is better than what I chose. My plan is to land here for the 9, then slide over for the 14, but that's low percentage, and bad things can happen, like this. It's much easier to play the 9 in the side, then pick up the 14. I'm really uncomfortable with this type break shot. High percentage of the cue ball heading up table. I'm lucky to have a shot. The pattern I see is to follow the 3 to here, then play the 15, 5, and 1 for the break. I left a slight angle on the 15, so I decided to break them now. And you can see how well that turned out. I'm going to lose the cue ball on this shot, and scratching is a risk, but I'm focused on cutting this 2 enough to make it. I'm checking out the 12-13 combo to see if it's on. I hit the 6 way too thin and lost my cue ball. I was playing for 5 ball shape, followed by a break off the 14. I'm looking to see if I can play the 14 now, but the 5 ball is too close to the aim line. I'm determined to break the cluster off that 14, so I try for shape off the 5 ball shot. This is a nice result. I'd like to keep the 13-7 pair for break ball and key ball. Now I want to land on these balls off the 12 and with the last one leading to the 7. Unfortunately, the scratch on the side off the 11 is on, so I end up on the wrong side of the 12. Now, traveling to this end of the table with precision is out. I could go 3 or 4 rails like this, but I don't like it. I decide to take my 13 ball, the break ball, and break from behind the rack off the 1 or the 9. Okay, I've left the 9 ball as my break ball, and the pattern should be the 1, 10, 7, and 8. Getting on the 7 correctly depends on how I land on the 10. Okay, this works. Play the 7 in the far corner and draw to anywhere in here for the 8 and easy shape on the break ball. I'm not even considering the 7, which is so obviously the right shot. Always look for the best pattern and don't lose focus, especially with just a few balls left on the table. There's so little chance to recover if you make a mistake. This is a big mistake, which leads to a run-ending sequence. I came up short on the 7, and now I have to hammer a stun shot and roll a cue ball to a target area. Cue ball speed is tough to gauge. And now I'm too flat on the 9 ball, with little hope of creating enough angle to break the rack. I was thinking about going to the short rail first into the 9 to create more angle, but it seemed too risky, so I forced it 2 rails with maximum high left. But not good enough. Well, it appears that my goose is cooked. Hold on now. I'm starting to get a vision of making that corner ball. Nah, forget it. Nobody can make that shot. I'll just leave it as an unfinished 70-ball run, and I'll be back when I can do better.